This is Beth Slate with RJH Consulting. We help law firms strategize their growth, streamline their operations, and increase their profitability. If you're seeing this on YouTube, hit the like button, show us a little love. Today is October 1st, and we are starting out the month with one of my favorite companies that we have seen do some amazing things for our clients. Matt Barnett with Mighty is with us today. Hi, Matt.
Hey, Beth. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So to be honest, I really am excited about having you here. We have clients that are already using your product and service, and they're loving it. So could you tell us a little bit about you and Mighty just to start off with?
Yeah, so thank you so much for having me. My name is Matt Barnett. Like you said, I'm the VP of Business Development here at Mighty, and I've got some deep history in the personal injury space. My dad was a chiropractor for about 30 years, and I actually eventually wound up working for a medical provider that treated accident victims, and spent a little time in the corporate world after that, and then discovered Mighty, connected with our CEO, Josh, about 2 years ago, and was really drawn to this idea that technology could improve this massive industry. And I know it may not be that obvious, but personal industry is a $250 billion industry and represents about 1% of the GDP of our entire country. And to date, yeah, it's crazy. To date, there hasn't really been a technology company that's exclusively focused on making it easier for all these people in the personal injury ecosystem to do business better and more easily. And that includes the law firms that folks like you and Crystal support and coach and mentor, all the way to funding companies and medical providers. And we even have people that do rental cars on a lien that use Mighty to track their cases and communicate efficiently. So we're really excited about what we've built and how it's able to impact this huge industry and bring technology and efficiency that really hasn't been there before.
Right. That's amazing. And I will tell you that because we work with so many personal injury law firms, one of the things that they struggle with constantly is that communication piece, whether it's to clients or the providers, because there's so much going on in each case.
Right.
And so I would love to hear a little bit more about how Mighty addresses that communication issue, because that really is at the heart of what you guys do.
Absolutely. Yeah, so to paint the picture, if you have a personal injury law firm and say you have case managers and paralegals, of course attorneys as well, but the case managers and paralegals are oftentimes kind of on the front lines dealing with all sorts of communication, not only from the client, which of course is super important, but also from lien holders, providers, funding companies, and the like. So what our technology is really designed to do is take certain pieces of that work and automate it so that law firms can be more efficient. And the biggest piece of that work that we've been able to really completely automate in a way that's really user-friendly and doesn't take the personal touch out of doing business is this terrible thing called case status updates, right?
Yes.
So for example, if a law firm has, or a law firm paralegal has a certain number of cases, call it, I'm just going to ballpark and say 50. Each one of those cases has a number of lien holders, providers, and funders that are all on that case. So you may have, let's say, an MRI facility and a pain management doctor and a hospital, and then maybe even a funder or a surgeon. All of those providers and lien holders at some point are going to be contacting the office and that paralegal or case manager specifically and saying, hey, can you give me an update on these cases? Like, are they going to litigation? Are they settled? Or worse yet, can you give me an update on these 10 cases or these 20 cases? And what happens is that person has to stop what they're doing,
right,
look into their case management system or the files that they have, determine what the status is, and share that update, right? Is that pretty much what your experience is as well?
Absolutely. And talk about a time waster, because if they don't get them on that first call, then it's leave a message and then they'll get the call back. And there is a huge waste of time and efficiency in that process. Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's what we've seen across the board is one of the big reasons why we've been so successful in helping law firms across the country. So what will happen to sort of continue this saga is that case manager or paralegal will give that update and be like, oh, now I can go back to what I'm doing. But the problem is those 3, 4, 5 or so other providers or lien holders are not getting that information. So now they're calling on some of those same cases. And you can see, obviously, it becomes really redundant, really inefficient. So what Mighty is and what we've been able to build is what I would describe as a secure online bulletin board that allows any provider or lien holder or funder that a law firm works with to see those case statuses in real time, anytime they want, without ever having to call or email your clients, your law firms, to ask. And that's
which is incredible in and of itself, but I have to just like put in right now so that people are not, they don't get to the bottom of this and go, how much does this cost? Because as I understand it, for my clients and for law firms, it's free.
It is free. Yes.
It's free.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
There's no charge for this. I mean, there's a lot of great companies and vendors out there, but this is free and it increases efficiency and it hits on that button that is so important, and that's your provider relations, because
Exactly.
the more that you stay in contact with them, the more they're willing to work with you on these cases. It keeps the relationship better, especially when you get to that lien negotiation part, in working with them. So it's free, and I love that. So
it is free. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. So at what point in a law firm, when they're like doing cases and, maybe they're a small office, maybe they're a large office, when should they be implementing this program?
Yeah, really good question. And just to expand a little bit on the pricing, because sometimes, to be frank, we get people that say, I can't believe this is free. Like, how is something like this free? And
Right.
it actually works really commonly in software where there's a free product and then there's a premium product that people can upgrade to. Now, to be completely clear, there is no premium product for law firms. Mighty is always free for law firms, and we don't have a paid product for law firms at all. But for lien holders and providers, they also access these case status updates for free, but they do have the option to upgrade to a premium version of our software, which is oftentimes used by larger lien holders, sometimes like hospital type size systems where there's workflow and analytics that they can access to make other parts of doing business easier. But for the purposes of sharing case status updates from law firms to providers in a streamlined, easy way, that's free not only for your clients, for law firms, but also for providers to see those updates.
That's just a win-win for everybody, because we have a win for the personal injury firm, we have a win for the provider, and most importantly, you've got a win for that client.
Yep.
The client of the law firm. Because when we have that solid information going back and it's constant, it just makes a case flow. You have better results, and everybody is more at ease in that process. So beautifully done by you guys.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So back to the question of when should law firms be looking at implementing this? Yeah,
so we have really the answer is if your team can benefit from saving time, and then obviously now is the best time to implement Mighty. And the great thing is implementing Mighty can literally take 20 to 30 minutes. It's very easy to do. It's a very simple process change. It doesn't require a heavy lift in terms of onboarding and training. Literally a half hour is all it takes to get started using Mighty. And then of course we have other ways to streamline things and a customer support team to help make sure that things are as easy as possible. But
that's fantastic.
Yeah. And to answer your question directly, if your law firm gets calls, emails, faxes from providers, funders, and other lien holders for case status updates, then now is the time. And so we work with solo practitioners that have leveraged Mighty to kind of take one more job off their plate and be able to grow more easily, or literally some of the largest law firms in the country use Mighty on a daily basis to save hundreds of hours of manpower and focus more on what really matters, which of course, as you and your clients know, it's focusing on the client, making sure they're going through their course of treatment, getting their cases settled, and getting them back to their lives, really.
You know, this is a great service that you guys are doing, and I see the
Thanks.
benefit to it. But I will tell you this, right now during COVID, one of the things that's happening in the legal industry is that we are being forced to make changes in how we deal with our clients, in how we deal with providers, how we deal with, the business world in general. And on top of that, we're also making changes with our employees. How do we stay in communication with them? How do we keep them engaged? How do we
Hmm.
make their job easier? Because there's so many more challenges. And,
Absolutely.
2020 has been such a challenging year. I think if there was ever a time for a service like yours, it's now. And you're right. Make this change now. If it's a 30-minute implementation process, there's no reason not to do it. And when you add on top of that, there's no cost for my clients.
Right.
Again, do it. Call up Matt. Let's make this happen. There's no reason to wait. Let them know that RJH sent you. But I think this is a game changer. Can you give me some
Thank you.
examples of results you're getting from clients?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a law firm here. I'm based in Atlanta. Our company operates nationwide, but there's a solo practitioner in Atlanta. His name is Blade Thompson. Shout out to you, Blade, if you're listening. But Blade is one of the smaller firms. It's him and a very small team that he's been able to leverage Mighty, like I said before, to just literally take this piece of work off of his plate, but also to let the providers and lien holders that he works with have access to his case status updates anytime they want. So he's able to say, hey guys, when we work on a case together, you'll be able to see from your couch at 11 o'clock at night what the status of a case is, so that you
Right.
know that I'm always on top of it, and you always have the comfort of knowing what's going on with the cases that we are working on together. So that's one example of a really awesome solo practitioner who's using Mighty to his benefit.
That's great.
An
That's great.
example of a much larger firm in New York is Subin Associates. And Subin Associates has been using Mighty for quite some time, so that their team never has to give a case status over the phone, over fax, over email. And they have had a really positive response from the lien holders and providers that they work with. But more importantly, they are saving hours and hours of time that they would typically have spent just
Right.
sitting, being interrupted,
Right.
providing updates to one lien holder, and then a few days or a week later, the same update to a different lien holder. And really, it's not just the time that you're spending on those updates in that moment, it's the switching costs, right? So if I'm preparing a demand and I'm trying to get a case settled, and I have kind of this phone ringing and these voicemails and emails coming in, switching back and forth is in and of itself pretty detrimental to working. And they've been able to eliminate that, and also have seen a decrease, a significant decrease in the volume of phone calls and emails that are coming in with these requests, because they've, over a period of time, the lien holders and providers know that they can always just check Mighty and see what's going on with the case. They don't have to call or email anymore. So
I do wonder, what is the actual amount of time that is lost in the day-to-day calls and the switching time, as you said. I think Gallup has done a study about the amount of time that it takes to switch between activities.
mhm.
And I'm thinking, okay, let's say it's just 20% or even 15%. That means each one of your legal assistants and case managers can handle 10 to 15% more cases,
Yeah.
which
Or
is, again, that's a win.
yep.
And everybody, I mean, communication is that key to keeping everybody happy.
Mhm.
And so you have happier clients, you have more clients. So
Exactly.
again, I think that's incredible. So let me go back to like the
Thanks.
technology part of this for just a minute.
Yeah.
There's a lot of my clients that are using different case management software programs. Which of those does Mighty work with?
Yeah, great question. So we have a full integration with Litify and Filevine.
Okay.
And with every other case management system, I don't think we've found one out there that we can't set up a really easy way to post just case statuses from Mighty. I'm sorry, from those systems to Mighty. And the
Okay.
reason it's so easy is because we use really basic information like the name, date of birth, date of loss, and status. So
Okay.
if you're a law firm and you're using uh, a case management system, any case management system that has name, date of birth, date of loss, and status, we can really easily automate posting just that information into Mighty. And again, picture it as a secure online bulletin board where the process is basically we post that information or help you post that information securely. And then anytime your team, a case manager or a paralegal gets a request for a case status update, all they have to do is say, hey, I actually can share this with you 24/7 anytime you want. It's in Mighty, and they can click a button, invite that lien holder or provider to Mighty, and literally go back to what they're doing instead of what's typically the process now, which is stopping what they're doing, looking up the case, having a back
Hmm.
and forth or returning a voicemail. Um, it's completely easy. And again, like you said before, it's a win-win because the law firm
Right.
saves time. And, I was actually on the other side of this equation working for a provider, and I had a spreadsheet that I'd have to go through probably every 30 days, hundreds of cases with hundreds of different law firms. And now, if I were in those shoes, this was 7 or 8 years ago, I wouldn't have had to do that at all. I would have been able to
Right.
log into Mighty, add the cases I want updates on, see them instantly, and then also Mighty sends providers and lien holders updates by email when those statuses change. So every time a law firm posts an update, the providers that they've shared that update with get an email. So it's not just passive communication, it's actually active communication. And trust me, if you've ever worked for a provider and you get an email that says, hey, this case is now going into litigation, that just saved me a phone
Right.
call or an email, and I can just check
Right.
that off my list and move on.
I look at the simplicity of what you're doing and what the impact is going to be. And again, it's one of the reasons why you guys are one of my favorite vendors and providers, is because the difference that that makes is tremendous. There's, again, as 2020 has showed us that we have to be lean. This is one of those ways where we
Right.
can do more with less.
Yeah.
And the fact that it's free, the fact that it's a win-win-win for everybody, I see no reason why any personal injury law firm isn't using it right now.
Yeah.
So again, I cannot recommend this high enough. I think this
Thank
is a
you.
fantastic idea. I know that we have several clients that are telling us this is a game changer for them in so many ways,
Hmm.
because now not only is that communication happening and their vendors are going, what? This is awesome. But it's freeing up more time for their case managers who have been kind of bogged down with all of these calls and callbacks and messages and voicemails and trying to get updates to who and I forgot to call them this month. So
Right.
this is fabulous. And you're right, personal touch is important. And that's not eliminating it. It's giving everybody the opportunity to check in when they want, get those updates without having to waste a lot of time. And if you need to pick up the phone or you have a question, you can do that.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
but yeah, absolutely fantastic. So if a personal injury law firm wanted to get in touch with you, how do they do that?
Yeah. So you can just email me at Matthew, Matthew, at mighty.com. And Mighty is Mighty. I think it's on the door right here.
Oh, there it is. Yeah. Backwards.
um, yeah. And I'll be happy to have it. We usually have like a 10-minute conversation about some of the fundamentals of how to get things set up. And from there, really get underway. There, like I said, there's a very light light lift in getting set up. We can do it as fast as half an hour. And really, that's the best way to get started, is just a quick call to get things set up, and we're
So
off to the races.
we have your email address. Do you have a phone number?
Yeah, 770-356-3571. And at the end, maybe we can put like a little card or something, as well as a quick demo that I put together to actually show you guys what the experience looks like for your team, but also providers and lien holders. So
we'd love to have that RJH, so we can be sharing that too.
Yeah, so stay tuned for that at the end of this video.
And that's great. That's awesome, Matt. I know we've tried to put this together a few times, and we finally are doing it today. I just want to thank you so much. And again, I'm your biggest fan.
Thank you so much.
I hope to see every personal injury law firm out there using this, because I think, again, like I said, it is a game changer. So thank you for your time today. And this is the beginning of many interactions I'm sure that we'll have with our clients, with you. And for those of you that are out there listening, contact Matt at mighty.com. That's Matthew at mighty.com. Phone number and all of that will show up at the end of this little video, and let them know that RJH Consultants sent you. And good luck, everybody.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Hey, everybody. Thanks so much to Beth and RJH Consulting for having me on today. And I wanted to take just a second and show you literally how Mighty works. So again, law firms across the country are using Mighty every day so that they never have to do a case status update by phone, fax, or email again with providers, funders, and other lien holders. And you can just think of it as a secure online bulletin board where your law firm can post case statuses. And then from there, all your team has to do is just invite those providers, lien holders, and funders to see those updates. And the way we do that is we integrate with case management systems like Filevine or Litify, so that the data and status updates is automatically synced using name, date of birth, date of loss, and status. Or we can sync up with any other case management system, and it can take as little as 30 minutes to get this set up. So after that, anytime your team gets phone calls, emails, or faxes requesting updates, all they have to do is add their email address and the email address of the lien holder or provider or funder. We also have fax functionality, so if they get a fax, they can just enter the fax number, and it'll send an invitation to that provider to set up their free account. And that invitation comes in an email with a link. The provider clicks the link and takes them to this page, where they can simply add a little bit of information like their name, company name, and website, and then they're taken to this next stage where they enter the cases that they want to see. So they'll enter your law firm, which will automatically populate from this drop-down menu here. Then they'll enter the patient's name, last name, date of birth, and date of loss. And that's all they have to enter to see that case status. Takes about 10 or 15 seconds. And then after that, they're taken into their account where they see the information that they've entered, so the patient's name, and then the status that your team has shared. Again, super easy to do. It's all secure and streamlined. And they'll also get an email when the case status is changed. So not only are they able to add their cases and see the updates there, but anytime that update changes, they'll get an email. So really, it's important to know that Mighty is a win-win for your team. You're never having to do an update over the phone, fax, or email again. And the folks that you work with are able to see the updates on their cases in a much easier, streamlined way as well. So to get started, just visit mighty.com. And you can fill out a form, and we'll be in touch with you. Just a quick phone call to make sure we have your account set up properly, and you guys can be off to the races. Or anytime you want to email me, you're welcome to. My name is Matt again, and my email is matthew@mighty.com. We'll have a quick conversation, get you guys set up, and again, it takes just a few minutes to start using Mighty. So hope to talk to you soon, and thanks so much for listening.